Yes, good evening. Can you hear me? This last benches, am I audible? Right. Online friends, is my voice clear? Change your chart to everyone. You can chart here. Go ahead. Everyone, change your chart to everyone. Right. So, what was the last discussion? What did we do in the last class? We have configured a. Okay. What did we do in this class? We have configured a website on a Linux machine. So, web server. Configuration of web server we have understood yesterday. Correct or not? Online people know the answer. What? How many of you have done this activity in your own accounts? Raise your hands, please. Very nice. Good. Online friends, only Murli. So my voice is not clear. Okay, Suraj, just let me.
Oh, there you go. Now it should be clear. Suraj, isn't it? Yeah, I got it. Right. So we did web server configuration, but let us understand that one more time. Meaning, so far we have known how to create a server and how to log into the server and how to configure a website inside this server. To configure a website, what we requirements? We require additional software. What is the software name? HTTPD. So this can be also called as a package, right? So this is a package. Now we have installed a package on top of my server. Then we have started the service and we have done all the things. Right or wrong? Okay, cool. So, but in yesterday's class, we have logged into the server. Can anyone guide me the process? What is the first command? We first install the package. See here, what is that additional thing I'm doing? You remember yesterday we have entered y whenever it is asking, but right now I'm including that y inside the command itself. Shortcut. Okay. Then we started HTTP. How to do that? HTTPD start. Of course, you have to check the status and then start, of course, right? After that, we have to go into, yes, people. Document root, very nice. For www.html. So we need to be inside this particular folder. After that, so please don't, you have to say that we need to create the web page here. Yes or no? We have to create the web page. Now in this place, I've created my web page. Understood? So I've created index.html page. Now with what tool you want to, that is up to you. VI or VIM or gedit or nano or whatever, whatnot. All right. After that, what is the most important thing to do? So guys, are we doing all these individually, commands individually or not? We are executing each and every command individually, isn't it? So can I say we are doing it manually? Manually, we logged in and we are executing all these commands. And then we will be executing chk config httpd and he will to switch it on. You remember this? Yeah, very nice. So what my client is saying, on the daily basis, I wanted to configure few web servers. All right. On the daily basis, I need to do this for different purposes. So each time I'm spending this much, of time, create the server manually, isn't it? And then log into the server. What we are doing here, launch a server, log in, and do the entire process manually, one step by step. one step after another, isn't it? So we need to do all these steps. So obviously it is taking some time or not. Are we spending some time to do this? Everybody. So whenever you're doing it manually, it is a time consumption process. It is consuming a lot of time. So time consumption is a problem here. Can I say that? So whenever you're doing it manually, there is one more problem. What is that? One more challenge is if you're doing any small mistake, then what will happen? Your web server will not be configured properly. Correct or not? So there is a high chance of going wrong. That means what? You can make a lot of human errors, isn't it? And my client needs this activity to be done on the daily basis, multiple number of times for different applications, for different environments, for different projects. So now by taking all these pointers into account, what my client is saying is, boss, I don't want to do this manually. If I'm doing it manually, it is taking a lot of my time. And I need to create multiple web servers on a daily basis, otherwise for my requirement. So what my client is saying, the new requirement my client is giving me, my client is asking me a question, how to automate this web server configuration? Question mark. Why we need to automate, friends? If anything we are doing manually, it is going to take a lot of time. To reduce the time, to reduce the effect of the errors, obviously we need to automate something, correct or not? So now here, what we are automating here, web server configuration, we are automating. How to do this? This is our first question we need to ask ourselves. Who are we? Cloud engineers, isn't it? Now, online people, go ahead. How to automate this web server configuration in our case? Everybody go ahead. Any answers? How can we automate this process? Yesterday we have done the process manually, right? How can we automate? So whenever there is a concept of automation, otherwise whenever we need to automate something, how you have to think about is, what is that? Of course, we have already. So Anjali is giving me one answer. Vijendra is giving me one answer. Bundle all commands in one package. Very nice. But what do you call that as? Okay, Vijendra is giving me one answer. Scripting. Very nice. That's the word I'm looking for. What is that? Scripting. So now let us ask few questions for ourselves here. First question. What is the operating system we are working in? Okay, now we have to understand. On Linux operating system, yesterday we were executing some Linux commands. Correct or not? Then we need to automate Linux operating system. We need to automate Linux operating system commands. So how to do it? For every operating system, there will be a scripting language, isn't it? Instead of executing individual commands, we are going to combine all these individual commands in an order with some logic inside a file. That file is called as a script. If it is Linux operating system, which is called as what? Shell scripting. What is scripting language Linux will support? If it is Windows operating system, what is the scripting language? PowerShell scripting. Have you heard about this? dir command, cd command, cmd command. Yesterday we have created, we went into cmd command and saw ipconfig command. All these commands belongs to PowerShell. In Windows, batch scripting. Yes, batch commands. In Windows, we call it as what? Batch. 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 Are we clear? But in Linux, what is the scripting language Linux will support? Shell script. If you want to automate Linux operating system activities, what is the scripting language you have? Shell scripting. That's it. Now let us understand. Shell scripting. What do you mean by this? Shell scripting is nothing but sequence of Linux commands. What commands? sequence of Linux commands plus some logic to it. Meaning, please create, otherwise execute this command. After this command only execute the next command. After this only execute the next command. So with some logic, you are in an order. In an order, you are writing bunch of commands together. That's it. In a file, that is called as shell script. That's all. Sequence of commands with some logic written in a file is called as a shell script. Are we clear? Now there are few conditions to write a shell script. So every, administrator, every AWS engineer, every Google Cloud engineer, anybody who is working in operations, they must know what is a shell script and how to write a shell script, basic idea about shell script, the structure of the shell script. Everybody has to know. If you want to work in IT, you have to know this. Not only this particular Linux operating system, not only is useful for AWS, whatever course you're learning, it is useful for your entire IT career, period. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? So this is very important. So that's why I'm telling you, at least learn 1 or 2 commands a day. Okay, make it happen. Fine. So there are few commands. There are few, what do you call that? Conditions to write a shell script. So obviously, first condition, recommended condition. Recommended, please remember that. Recommended condition is your shell script. Let us say I wanted to configure a web server, right? Automatically. For that, I'm writing a file name called web server. What is the extension of the shell script? .sh. How can you create a .sh file in Linux? File. How to create a file in Linux? VI editor, friends. Everyone, you remember this? VI space, your file name. Yesterday, we have created VI space index.html. Right or wrong? Fantastic. So right now here, this is your shell script. The moment you do that, one file will be opened like this. Everybody clear? Then if you want to write a shell script, everyone, if you want to write a shell script, there is one more condition. Anyone? What should be the first statement of this particular shell script? Anyone? Yeah, what is that? So guys, everybody look at this. The first line should start with a hash exclamation. Okay. And /bin/bash. This should be your first line of code. Again, recommended line to write inside a shell script. All of you? Understanding or not? Recommended line of shell script. So in any scripting language, everyone, in any scripting language, hash, if a line is starting with hash, what is the meaning of that? Developers? In any scripting language, if a line is starting with a hash, what is the meaning of that? It is treated as a comment. You know how to comment in C language or not? Hash, correct or not? A lot of times it is treated as a comment, but here this comment is, this hash is not treated as a comment because it is a special statement to be written in shell script. So that's why there is an importance for this line. That is why we call it as what? Shebang line. What is that? Sir, what is the shebang line? What is the naming convention? Why did they give like this? Up to them, friends. So Linux is calling it as shebang line. It is a recommended line to write in the first line of your shell script. Now, what do you mean by this? What is the advantage to write this? Because we are making our operating system understand that, boss, I'm going to write a lot of Linux commands beside this, below this, isn't it? All these Linux commands will be there in this particular bin folder, bin bash folder. If you go to this, only then you can find the library files of those commands. Then only we'll understand that. Are we clear? So that is the meaning of it. So because a lot of different operating systems will follow different shells. It is bash, Bond, advanced shell. Some older shells are there. CSH, C shell, turbo C shell, the older shell, corn shell, like that, depending on the operating system. But most of them will support bash. Is this clear? So write this as your first statement. Then all your commands that we have written above will be written over here. What are they, friends? Everybody look at this. Yum. Yeah, definitely Shiva. Yum install httpd, then -y I'm giving. So that's why I've told you -y. What is -y, friends? I'm saying yes, download by default directly from the command itself. Then let us start it. So guys, don't worry about the syntax here. If you cannot understand that, I'm going to give you the proper syntax. I'll give you the script on your screen. You can take a screenshot, but you have to write it, write down. Then I'm doing chk config and httpd, switch it on. I can, execute this command anytime I want, all right, after starting it. Then after that, I'll go into, everybody look at this, var www.html. In this folder only, I need to create my website content or not? Now, question mark, everyone, look at this. Now there is a discussion point. Yesterday we were doing it manually. That's why I have done vi space index.html and then I have written this code. I mean, welcome to whatever that is, HTML code we have written. But this is automating script, right? Automation script. Now how to do it? That is one question. Okay, I can do it with a lot of different ways, but here my point is, what are you becoming out of this course? If you finish this course, you are becoming a cloud engineer, isn't it? So yesterday we have created index.html file. Is that our job? Writing HTML code. Who will be writing HTML code in the organizations? A lot of you may be thinking, sir, we should be learning HTML coding or what? No. We will not be writing it. That's not our job, friends. Is it our job? No. Who will be writing the website code? My UI developers will be writing. Web developers will be writing. Okay. So as a Linux administrator, sorry, we are AWS cloud admin. As a cloud administrator, we need to understand if my developers are writing the code, how to get the code into my HTML folder. If you can know that, that's fine. Meaning your web developers will be writing the code somewhere. They're storing the code somewhere. So from that somewhere, you have to copy it into your HTML folder. If you can know that, you can restart the HTTPD service and then you can configure your website, right or wrong? So now let us understand in real-time scenario, how things will happen. Let us understand the small example here. So what is the first phase of any IT project, friends? This is not part of solution architect associate examination at all. This is for your information. You can say this in the interview also. I told you sysops also I'm covering little bit, troubleshooting and all these things. So this is part of that. All right. What is the IT business starting point? What is the first phase of any IT project? How many developers are there here? Requirement, after requirement, everything is done. The first phase of implementation. Implementation is the first phase or not? In implementation, what will happen? Yes, developers. In implementation, we'll be writing the code, isn't it? Who will be writing the code? Developers will be writing the code. For them, do I have to create one environment for them or not? Development environment. I'll be creating a number of servers inside that. Can I say this? So this is developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, developer 4. Example I'm taking, okay? Don't take it literal sense. Example, all these guys are writing the code. Do you understand what is a module? All of you? Do you know what is a module? In a website? No? Okay, cool. So our world famous example, what is that? Flipkart.com. So now the moment I open Flipkart.com here, what is this? This is one module for mobiles. This is a module for fashion. This is electronics. This is home appliances, travel, furniture, and all these other things. Right or wrong, friends? All of you. So I can call this feature as a module here. That is totally, technical, isn't it, Vijendra? I'm talking about this, the feature inside the website. Let us imagine that developer 1 is writing the code for mobiles. Developer 2 is writing the code for what? A separate module fashion. Developer 3 is writing for this. Developer 4 is writing for this. You are responsible. So separate teams are responsible for writing the functionality. Can I call it as functionality? One functionality for this. Everyone in the classroom, are you understanding this? Yeah. So now that is what will happen in the initial phase of the project. So developer 1 is writing the code here. Everybody is writing their respective code. So these are in the local developer machines, correct or not, in their laptops or whatever, wherever. So to do, otherwise to create an application together with all these coding only, application will build, correct or not? So together to create an application, what they will do is they will upload their final version of code to one cloud-based application, and we call it as a code repository. What is that? Code repository. Have you ever heard about GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, all these things? Yeah. So what are they? They are code repositories. You can call them as what? Version control systems, VCS, or source code management systems. What do you mean by source code? The programming your developers are doing. Boss, it is not your job, okay? You are not going to write the code. Don't think about, sir, should I learn the coding right now? No, we are not. But you need to understand to configure the web server from that code. We need to understand this, correct or not? So that's why for your information, I'm giving you this. So imagine that in our organization, we are using GitHub repository. Okay, online repository, source code management tool. Which tool I'm using? GitHub. Maybe in other organizations, people can use Bitbucket. Maybe in other organizations, people can use some different code repositories. That is totally up to them. Are we clear? Right? So now let us see developers 1 code, developers 2 code. All the developers code, final version of code is here. I'm maintaining securely in a cloud-based application. Now, what you have done, friends, you have created your server. You know how to create a server or not? You are a cloud engineer, okay? So whose name I'm taking today? Yeah, what's your name, buddy? Abdul? Okay, let us say this is Abdul. So Abdul is a cloud engineer. Now he has to configure a web server. On which operating system, Abdul? Linux. Linux operating system, your destination operating system is Linux. Now Abdul has to know, without writing the HTML code, he has to configure the web server. Now what he has to do? But you don't want to do it manually. That's why he's writing the script here, isn't it? So now how can Abdul configure? Otherwise, how can Abdul copy the final version of code from GitHub to which folder you have to copy here, Abdul? All your website content should be there in which folder? Abdul needs to be in the document root. So he has to go to inside this particular folder. Then he will be, or he should be, copying all these files into that HTML folder. Correct or not? So what you need to do? You need to copy the code. But this is not a server directly. You cannot copy Control A, Control C, Control V, not work, because it is a tool, right or wrong? So there is a stipulated, otherwise there is a process. Okay, first, like this, let us understand. No, it will not work, sir, in FTP, SFTP. Okay, first of all, let us understand how this Linux server will understand there is a online tool called GitHub. They must be known to each other, right? Linux and GitHub should be communicating with each other or not? Yes or no? How can you communicate with the server? If you're having a client tool of that particular tool, I can download. Anyone, how many of you have done your IT engineers in your labs? Have you ever connected to databases or not? How to connect to a database? We need to have a tool running in your laptop. What was that? SQL Plus, Toad, MySQL Workbench. Anyone have utilized? If you want to connect to a database, you need to have a client software or not? In the same way, in Linux server, okay, how can it communicate with GitHub, it has to install a client software. Regarding what? GitHub. So what is the command to install any software? Yum install. What is the package name for GitHub? So the package client software name is what? Git. Yum install Git. So what Abdul is doing, he is installing Git. What is the purpose of installing Git? To be able to copy the final version of code. Are we clear? Understood? Done. So after he is installing Git, now he will be using Git tool. Git, instead of copy, Git is calling it as clone. Cloning means creating exactly same copy, duplication, isn't it? Redundancy, all these are your synonyms. Git clone, and you can compare this GitHub, everybody on the high level, you can compare this GitHub with your Google Drive. In your Google Drive also, you can store a lot of files, right? You can compare this GitHub also with your Google Drive. Will Google Drive give you IP address or URL? If you store any file in Google Drive, will it be having IP address or URL? Isn't it? It will be giving you a URL because it is a online storage. In the same way, GitHub will also give you a URL for the repository. Guys, it is just for your understanding. So now who will be giving you this URL? Your development team will be giving you this URL in real time. Are we clear? So all we need to do, git clone space, whatever URL your development team is providing you. Get it? Understanding? Then I'm going to give a space and say dot. What is that dot here? Current working directory. What is current working directory? HTML. Where are you copying it? Understood? In HTML directory. Then what will happen the moment you hit enter? All the code from that repository will come and sit in your HTML folder. Are we clear? Your code will be in HTML folder. Job done. So the moment you are inserting a lot of files into your HTML folder, what you need to do? You need to restart the service. Right or wrong? Because whenever we are adding, whenever we are modifying, whenever we are doing any changes in your document root, what is the default thing? You have to reboot the service. You have to restart the service. So now you have to go ahead and restart the service. Service HTTPD restart. Then your job done, finished. Without even writing the HTML code, what Abdul has done, he has downloaded the code from the GitHub repository. Who has written the code? My development team written the code. Are we clear? That's it. So now the same thing I'm writing in my script. So this is a process, friends. In real time we'll be following. But what about this? Here it, our script is not complete. What I'm doing here, see here. Along with HTTPD, everybody, I can install Git also at the same time. HTTPD space Git space -y. Two packages at the same time I can install like that. Simple, everyone, right? So once Git is already there, after going into the HTML directory, I'm writing git clone command with the URL I'm getting from my development team. Say definitely there should be a space after that URL, and there should be, you have to give a dot. Okay, fine. Once you are done with that, then finally you will be rebooting your service. That's it, done. Your script is done. All right, your script is done. Who is writing this script again? Let us imagine that my Linux administrator, he is helping us. Who's writing the script? Let us say Dilip. Somebody is a Dilip here, right? Yeah, Dilip. Dilip is my Linux administrator. He has written the script. Where did you write the script, Dilip? In your Windows laptop, you have written the script. Let us say this laptop. Everybody understanding or not? So now, without doing it manually on AWS cloud platform, I need to configure a web server. Is this clear? So now what Abdul is doing all these things, you know. So Dilip has written this. He has given this script to Abdul. Now Abdul is the cloud engineer, right? So he need to do the activity right now. Everybody clear? Now let's see here. Everybody take a screenshot of this. Go ahead. Take a screenshot. If you have not written it, take it. Even if you have written it, just for the reference, take it. That is up to you, okay? No compulsion. Go ahead. How can you understand, Sai Teja, how to check whether a web server is up and running or not? Web server up and running or not? How to check it? Yeah, then that is the answer. Of course, status means in the operating system you are checking. Correct or not? Just open your browser. Yes or no? And copy the public IP address. Hit it. If you can see the website opening, then obviously it is available. Correct or not? That's it. So now, have you taken the screenshot, all of you online people? Shall we go ahead? So your developer has to come into picture. Everyone, your developer has to do it. Anyways, now let me show you how a typical GitHub repository will look like. I'm not saying that you have to create a GitHub repository. Just use mine. This is open. This is public. You can use mine. I'm going to give you my URL also. You can go ahead and do it. Okay, fantastic. So for that, imagine this, friends, everyone. So as you can see, this is your organization. Let us say you're working for TCS. All right. You're working for Tata Communication, otherwise Tata Consultancy Services. They will be creating this repository like this. And what is the website I'm creating? One example website. See here, I've not written this code. Okay. I've downloaded this from our friend, Google. Okay. So I have uploaded all the, code to this particular repository. Everyone clear? So are you seeing this? N number of files are there in each file. There are a number of other files are there. So finally I'm calling my repository with the name called car website, whatever that is. Okay, just you'll be getting like this in your organization. Sir, you told me to get the URL, isn't it? Where is the URL? Everybody will think this is the URL. No. In GitHub, URL will be copied from this code button. Are you seeing this code button, friends? Click on that. And there you go. This is the URL you have to copy. Are you seeing that? That's a URL. You have to copy that. Understood or not? Yes or no? Good. So this is a URL. Now using this URL, I need to write my shell script. Correct or not? Now see. Now I'm becoming Dilip right now. I have written a shell script. Everybody look at this. So whatever we have discussed so far, whatever commands we have written on the screen so far, I'm giving it to you here. Are you seeing that, friends? And everyone, all of you, what is that? Okay, so Google Classroom, everybody download it on the daily basis. Whatever we are discussing in the classroom, I'll be posting there. Is this understood? See here, we are not safe. Whatever you're talking in your home also, Google is listening continuously. Actually speaking, is nothing is safe. Okay, everything is open right now. Whatever. So see here, everyone download this. So on the daily basis, I'll be uploading the classroom session. Whatever I'm writing on the screen will be there in your Google Classroom. Is that okay? Good. So see here, guys. Now this is the URL I have copied from that location and I have pasted here. Then is there a dot at the end or not? Definitely you should do it. And then finally, I'm closing with it. Everybody clear or not, friends? Understood? Yeah. So from where did I copy that URL? Every organization will be having a repository. So go to that repository, and inside that there will be a code button. Are you watching it? Click on that, and there is a copy button for HTTPS URL. Are you watching it? Just copy it from there. Understood or not? Just copy that and paste it in your script. So I am Dilip. Right now I've written the script. Okay, Dilip, you understood? So now I have written the script. I have saved it. All right. Imagine that I've saved it. Fine. Now let us go to our AWS console. Everyone, what we are doing, without even logging into the server, without even doing any manual command execution, I wanted to configure my web server. Who has written my web server code? My development team has written. They have uploaded into that repository. Everybody clear now? Okay, so now let us launch my instance. I don't want to log into it. I just wanted to launch it. So step number 1, selecting your AMI. Everyone, let us do it. Select. You'll be getting it, Vijendra. Maybe already you got it. Please check. What is this? Instance type. No. In interviews also don't tell T2.micro, because 1 GB, one core processor, no real-time application can run with that. Okay, you have to tell me, what is it? T2.micro instance type. We are selecting an instance type. That would be better. Okay, fine. Save what next? Of course. Now I'm selecting an availability zone. So this is anyways, it is a default network only, correct? Right. Should I enable public IP address or not? Yes, you have to enable public IP address. Online people, what happened? Say yes or no, friends. Go ahead. Scroll a bit down. So what I need to do, we are in the third step, isn't it? Configure instance step. I told you on the daily basis, we'll go to somewhere. So now how to attach the shell script that we have written to AWS EC2 instance to configure our website. Are we clear? So here, all the way down, everyone, scroll all the way down. There will be advanced details section. Are you watching it? There will be advanced details section. At the end of it, you will find one option. What is that? User data. Everyone, you'll find a option called user data. Again, here two options. One, as a text. As text means you have to type all the commands that we have written in the script. We have to type it ourselves. That means what manually we need to type here. So again, if you are doing a manual typing here, maybe you will be missing a dot or something. So again, it is a problem, right or wrong? So that's why I'm taking the help of my shell scripter. Already I have that shell script here shared with me, my developer, isn't it? Now I'm selecting what is the other option, as file, and then it is asking to, okay boss, go ahead and browse your file. Click on that. So where is my, what type of file is this? sh file. What is that? How to save it? You have to save it with .sh only, mandatory. Everyone, you have to save it with .sh extension for sure. Remember that. So once we save it, select that, open it. Everybody look at this. Did we attach web server.sh script here? All of you understood? That is encryption. So whatever script you are uploading from your laptop to AWS cloud, while it is uploading, it should be encrypted, isn't it? Encrypted means cipher. Cipher means unreadable format algorithm it will be adding on top of it. If you want to do that, go ahead and do it. All right, fine. Then let us say what next. Everybody clear or not? Shall we go to next page? Next step, please. All of you online. Next. The storage, of course, 8 GB. I'm not storing any data here. I'm okay with 8 GB. So I'm going with 8 GB. Next. And should we give a tag or not? Definitely, you have to make it a habit. So capital N should be given. Just give it a. So it is a web server, isn't it? Now with the help of user data I'm creating, isn't it? Why are we creating automatic process? Isn't it? Whatever naming convention, guys, whatever it is, you can go ahead and do it. Understood? Let me click on what next. So I'm going to select my existing security group. If you remember, port number 80 should be available for all. That is the point. You remember this or not? HTTP protocol, port number 80, and web server should be available for all, anywhere. That's it. Say review. And while launching it, it will ask me a key pair. I'm using my existing key pair. Acknowledge that. Launch it. Now, I'm not even going to touch my web server right now, meaning my Linux server right now. I don't want to log into it because whenever this Linux operating system is booting up, what is that? Whenever this Linux operating system booting up means starting, isn't it? Starting up, this script that we have given will be executed. What will be executed? The script we have given will be executed. The moment in the operating system, all the steps, whatever we have written, are executed. What will happen, friends? Web server will be configured. Simple? Yes or no? Now let us wait for this server to come up. And as usual, how we have checked it yesterday, like that we will be checking it. How to check it again? Copy the what IP address? That's it. Copy the public IP address, paste it in the browser with port number 80. Is this clear? Right. So already the server is running, friends. Now everyone in the classroom, I'm giving you the IP address online, friends. Open your browsers and hit that. It should be working fine. Okay, offline, friends. What is the port number? 80. So hit enter. There you go. Your car website. Somebody has written the code. We did not written the code. This one, isn't it? Did we write this code? No, this HTML codes, images, we did not create anything. So what we have done? We have copied, otherwise we have cloned the repository from the what? Online repository to the HTML folder, and then we have configured our web server. That to what? Automatically with the help of a shell script. I hope everybody clear. Understood? Yes or no? Any questions? Go ahead. Anybody's having any questions? Go ahead. That is his, problem. If you are configuring it, if you can see now, you will be releasing it for the testing team, right? What is the process? Next process, we configured it. What is our job as a cloud engineer? बस configure कर दो, उसमें कर दिया हम लोग, मतलब we have done the configuration, done. Then we will release it for the testing team. Without giving it to testing team, can we give it to the end user? Never. So tester, what is their job? They have to find out the problem. If there is any problem, he will go ahead and write that in the repository, and then we will be reconfiguring it. Simple. Understanding or not, friends? Yeah. Okay, one more interesting question here. Syed is saying to keep this page active, we have to keep it in the Elastic, of course. So whenever somebody is stopping it, obviously the public IP address will change, right? So if you want to maintain the same IP address, only one option. What is that? Static IP address, elastic IP address. That's correct, Sai. Other questions? Go ahead. I'm expecting a lot of questions from you. Go ahead, friends. Yeah. Because public IP addresses will not be given to the end users. That's what your question is? That is domain name, right? We need to buy that. Domain names are not free. We need to buy the domain names, sir. How to buy the domain name? How to attach the domain name to the IP addresses? We'll understand. We have a separate discussion for it. I'll show you, but not right now. That is the end point, right? After everything is done, before we're delivering our application to the end user, we will do that, make up things. Of course, that is very important for the business. We'll have a discussion about it. So that is called as a DNS configuration. Mahinder, yes, Mahinder also talking about the same thing. Yeah. So we will be buying a domain name like flipkart.com. We'll be buying the domain name from GoDaddy or someone. Then we will be trying to configure that service. We have a discussion. All right. No problem. So at this moment, we are using public IP addresses. I did not use this elastic IP address because I'm just showing it to you. But if I stop this server and start it, what will happen? Akash, Patil, the public IP address will change. So to avoid that problem, we were talking about elastic IP address. That's all. I hope you got it. No. 1 second. I'll come back to you. Once Vijendra, that is absolutely wrong. It will not. Server is one, right? Only one. That is up to my developer, Sai Teja. Okay, go ahead with your question. Who is having the question here? Yeah. Content will be same. The server is same, right? Whenever your public IP address is changing, is there any effect on the data? No. Is there any effect on the business? No. But definitely, if your IP address is changing, your business is going down. So that is a problem. For that, elastic IP attach it. Of course, isn't it? You got my point? Data is there is no effect on the data. Data is intact because you're attaching 8 GB volume, right? Step number 4, what are you attaching? You're attaching 8 GB volume or not? Disk. So in the disk, the data, whatever you have written will be there. How to stop running from instance state? What is that? Stop it, Ajay. See here, click on server, go to instance state, stop it. It will go to stopped state after some time. If you totally want to terminate it, meaning remove it, along with the data, everything is gone. If you terminate it, nothing will happen. Nothing will come back to you. Irrecoverable, you cannot recover it. Done, finished. Understood? Good. Yes, go ahead with your questions. Okay, there's a question here, very nice. So after completion of our work, as we make our instances, that is just an example, right? So if you're stopping your servers, don't think about elastic IP addresses at all. Unnecessarily, you have to pay, right? Yes. For web hosting. But web hosting is not free, Mahinder. You have to either pay to something. Okay, you can for 1 year. Why not? Oh, there are a lot of questions. Very nice. Very good. So one question from Sareen here. So Sareen is talking about the script. Very nice observation here. So he or she is saying, sir, we have by default, we are using a user called EC2 user, but in the script, we did not use sudo command. Isn't it? Valid question? That's a question from Sareen here. We did not use sudo command. How Apache understood, how Apache installed that particular, isn't it? Package, he is asking. Very nice question. So for your question here, Sareen, you don't have to, isn't it? Because at the booting time, we are executing the script. What I told you, while the server is booting up, we are executing this script. At the time of booting in Linux operating system, only one user will be there. What is the user? Root user. While booting up your operating system. Windows operating system is also booting up. There will be only one user, administrator user will be there. Are we clear? So obviously with that user only, it will be installing everything. So you don't have to become a root user here. Sarin, understood? Good. What is that? On the same server? No, not, it is possible. But will you store two different applications in the same server? In production, what is the policy? 1:1. One application, one server, period. You can write it. Why not? You can write it. You can modify it. You can do whatever you want. That is your server, right? That is your server, right? You can. Of course. Configure like this. Understood? Yeah, of course, Sarin. Here also we are doing it right. Yum install httpd. This command is downloading and installing the packages. Is that clear, Sarin? Yeah, yeah. Of course, that is doing. As a root user, it is doing by default, because at the boot time, only one user will be there. What is the username? Root. So because it is root user, it can do whatever you want. Meaning he's the administrator in the operating system. Right or wrong? Good. Uh-huh. Why we are doing the changes? If I want to do the changes, somebody has to write the code, different, some code has to be changed. Not our job. Whenever they are saying that, boss, change something, give me the URL. I'll configure it. Thank you. Is this clear? By the way, we are talking about static website here. Once in a while, we'll be doing those activities. Of course, for those activities, we'll have to take the maintenance, downtime, planned downtime, change request, whatever you want to call it. That is developer's job. Why are you thinking about them? Free tier account. You are a free tier account, right? You are a free tier account holder. In a free tier account, you cannot use more than 5 elastic IP addresses. That is the free tier limit. Understanding? So this is very interesting question. Shikha is asking, Raghu, okay, is asking, sir, the user in Linux is called as user only. But how many users you can create? More than 60,000 users you can create. Up to you. In one Linux operating system, you can create as many users you want. So there are administrators user, there are normal users. Okay, you want to call this normal users. Let us say you and me, we are administrators, we are employees, right? We will become normal users. Understood? Practically ourselves, how to do that, sir? We have no domain names. You see here, use mine. I'm giving you my URL, right? Arvind, use the same URL and you will be seeing the same exact output whenever you're doing in your AWS account. That's what I'm telling you. I've created that for our practice purposes only. You don't have to, because only one user will be there, Akash, while running this code. Understood? Yeah. Any other questions? Until you are doing these things with your own hands, you will never understand, you will never remember, you cannot even by heart it. And please don't by heart Linux. You'll be very absolutely confused if you by heart it. Yes, you can, Komali, why not? Otherwise, do one thing. After your practice, please terminate it without having any, question marks in your head. My instance is running or what? Why to have this, question mark? After your usage, terminate it whenever you want it, create it. 1 minute job, no? How much time it will take to create a one instance? 1 or 2 minutes maximum. Yes, Saitesh, that is correct. But I'm just trying to give you one idea how web application will look like in real time. That's all. Okay, for that I have downloaded that web pages, otherwise that particular web application from, from Google, and then I have created a repository to just to show you, to make you understand. If you go into any organization, if someone is using a GitHub repository, you'll completely not a question mark face, right? You will understand, okay, the code is there. So for that, are you getting me? Understood? Fine. Yeah, you can, Komali, that is also possible, but why to take that chance? Because if you're forgetting about it, unnecessarily it will be charged. Everybody clear? Can you do this? All of you? Good. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next class. Whenever you find time, you have to practice. So Sarin is asking one more question. Sir, what if GitHub is password protected? Of course, in organization that will be password protected, and you should be an authorized person only. But my repository is not password protected. It will be publicly available. Everybody can do it. URL, I'll be giving you in the Google Classroom board. Everyone take this, but take a screenshot of that. This is a URL, okay? Take it if you want. Anyways, I'm going to share this in the class board, meaning classroom. Everyone download that. Take that. Yes, it will come. Yes. Yes, for GitHub. That is fine. Let us not worry about it. That's what I'm saying. We are not becoming developers here. We are understanding where the content is. All right. We understand where the content is and how to get the content to our respective Linux servers, where to copy it, how to copy it. That's all. Understood? Everyone clear? With that, let us stop it here. Thank you so much. Have a happy weekend, but don't waste time, friends. Movies, all these things will come later. Please practice. Okay, at least 1 to 2 hours for your career. Be very serious. Do it. Read it. At least 1 hour you have to read on the daily basis. Make it a habit, friends. The way you speak after this, if you are reading for 2 months from now on, the way you speak will be totally different. You will feel it yourself. Enough for the motivation. Thank you. See you on Monday. Bye-bye. Yes, Shika, that is correct. Please, accept that. That's it. No. You have to just accept your classroom invitation, I think. All right. You'll be getting it. So have you taken the screenshot, friends? This one, this whatever that is, STMU6. I don't know what is it. Just what is that? Is that V? Okay, cool. Okay, guys. See you. Thank you. Bye. Good night.